It simultaneously made me question my sexuality as well as reaffirmed my sexuality. Who remembers Y2K?
Wow, that was bad. But it's Barbie time, so let's just jump into it.
Wow. So this is the new Aaliyah doll. She just came out on Mattel Creations. And she looks pretty spectacular. I mean, I really love the packaging. You know, it's something as simple as just not putting it in a rectangular box really does make a difference. It just gives it a little bit of an edge. It's a little more interesting, a little more fun. They did a really great job on this. I have to be honest, when I saw leaked pictures of this, which, by the way, I don't love, I really wish that we all could stop sharing those. I mean, look, I get it. I understand. Like, we all want to see what's new and what's coming, but a doll like this really deserves her props. Like, but when you see like a mediocre, a mid picture of her on the internet that somebody took in a store that isn't really the best flattering light, and that's the first picture everybody sees of it, it really takes away from it. If you've been following my channel for a long time, then you probably know that I've talked about this story before, but I remember asking Carlisle about that once. Carlisle Noir, for those who don't know, is lead designer at Mattel. And he was talking about how, you know, you pour your heart and soul into something and you're working on it for 18 months before anybody gets to see it, and then, you know, and then that's what people see first. It's kind of like announcing somebody else's pregnancy or engagement. You just shouldn't do it. Now, do I share those privately with my close friends? Yeah, of course, we talk about them. It's not like I'm not interested or I don't want to know, but I don't broadcast it to the general community. So let's see. Do I need to do anything before we open this? That's my real question. So I've had this YouTube channel for a while, but I've never really posted content because it's this ecosystem that I'm not familiar with, to be honest, I just was afraid to try. I was afraid to try and fail, which, you know, is a bad thing. But looking back on my life, you know, whenever somebody says, what would you tell your younger self? I would say, I wish I could learn to fail, because every successful person, anyone that's ever made anything out of themselves, has failed over and over and over again. It's a numbers game, and eventually you win. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about this. Wow, she's so good. She's so good. She's so good. She's so good. Did Mattel send this to me? No, they did not. I bought it just like you did. But they have a distribution center in San Bernardino, which is only like an hour from here. So on the rare occasions that dolls ship out of that DC, I usually get them the next day. When they ship out of the one on the other side of the country, it takes me a week and a half at least. And for all those of you wondering, do I keep the box or not? No, these kind of boxes I don't keep. If it's a cake style box where you lift the lid off of it, like a Silkstone or a lot of the higher end dolls, then I generally do keep those boxes. And I'm going to have a very sad video about that soon. But, oh, things are falling out. Oh, it was your stand. But let's check out the Aaliyah doll. This I won't keep. Is it possible to rebox her in it? It is. But, I mean, like, nobody wants that. Nobody's going to do that. That's just the stand. It's the standard stand. I didn't know I was going to be making an unboxing video, but, I mean, I guess that's not true. I knew I was going to unbox her, but I always kind of forget because I'm not always the biggest fan of unboxing. You know, I don't know, it's interesting, but not also how many times can you watch it? So when I saw the sneaks of this doll, and that she had a little jewel in her belly button, and she was in all black leather, honestly, I said, there's no way that's Mattel. That's obviously a custom, one-of-a-kind doll that somebody made. That's an artist doll. That is, there's no way. Where's the backing? Do you want to see? Let's see if I can get my fingers out of the way, and maybe you can get a somewhat better shot of that. But that's got a really nice picture. Oh, it's a whole little collage of photos of her. That makes me sad. Do I like Aaliyah? Yes, I do. Do I know every in and out of her albums and every song and everything she did and her marriages and all that stuff? No, I don't, because I just don't normally follow celebs in that way, or even pop stars or R&B stars. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but see, that's why I like to take this off, because it's easier to get all this stuff undone, which is, it is a lot, but I understand the need, because when there's a lot of inbox collectors, a lot of times when this is on store shelves, you don't want it to fall over. You don't want their clothes to come off. You don't want their hair to get messed up. So it's better to do it this way. Now, this is kind of interesting because I don't really show this kind of stuff, but in the back, if you've never unboxed any kind of doll before, a Barbie doll, her hair is sewn in. So it's sewn across on the front and it's sort of zigzagged on the back. And there's also these little plastic doohickeys, right? That like usually you see for price tags if you're not on the doll collection, keeping her head in place. And there's a way to get all of this off. The easiest way, honestly, is to get a pair of scissors and snip it. I like to undo the string. It also makes my OCD happy. And you have to know that they string these backwards. So I can't really explain it, but when you pull the thread from the hole, it's always on the opposite side, because they have to, it looks like it would go right in a row, but they actually have to do it backwards so that the stitch holds. Or they backstitch or backtrack. That's not the right word for it, but it's not important. You all don't care. I don't even know that I care. But there is something satisfying about doing it this way. And honestly, they don't usually come out this nice, this easily. But it's good to see that they took some care into putting her in the packaging and putting her in the box. You know, I don't think everybody really knows how much work goes into one of these dolls. I mean, we all have heard stuff, we think we know, etc. But just as a reminder, you know, like you have the overall designer. In this case, this was Carlisle Noera. But he works with a face designer, the person that actually uses his illustration and then designs makeup that's reproducible in, you know, en masse for all of us. There is a soft goods designer who does all of the clothing pieces. There's someone that does accessories like the sunglasses and the shoes. That's a different person. And then there's a packaging person. And then there's even like a copywriter, basically. And I'm sure there's even more. There's marketing and there's all kinds of stuff in there. And, you know, the people that oversee those people and help them in departments and how they all collaborate. But it really does take a lot of people to do that. So with this, I do actually have my bag right there. I'm not going to get, well, should I get it for you? Can you see that? Let's see if I can get the camera to look at that up close. Let me grab my pliers. I'll show you the way that I should do it. So this is my convention kit. It started growing when I felt the need at some point that when I was at convention or when I'm traveling or doing stuff, you just always need a pair of scissors, some tape, whatever, a pair of pliers, what I'm going for now. And it's worth it to bring all that stuff with you. It's in a fancy bag only because this one actually my partner bought for me, which was really nice. And I had no use for it because I don't wear makeup, even though I should. But I said, I'm going to do this and then we'll see what happens. In here I have a small pair of pliers, needle nose pliers, like this. And then each of these little pulls, it's just easier to pull it out cleanly with a pair of pliers. Now these are going to break. That's what they do, and that's okay. The other part, sometimes it comes out of their head completely, but usually it just breaks off. And if there's a little piece sticking out, then I'll pull that in, or push that in. And then it comes off like that. But honestly, what I usually do, so if it's on there like this, is I just grab this whole thing and I'll grab her head. And you don't have to pull fast. I just pull slowly but firmly apart. And that usually works really well. In fact, because there were three, because this kind of hangs onto it for you, like as if they were a pair of pliers, it sometimes works better because you're getting a grip on all three. Just make sure that you undo the hair and whatnot first so that nothing else is pulling. And then back here, sometimes there might be a little something left over, but she looks pretty good. Oh my God, she's so cute. She's so hot. I don't know if you can notice, but if you look at her leggings or at these pants, you can tell that there's cardboard underneath her knees. That's to keep the doll from her legs from going wonky while she's in the packaging, so that they stay straight. That's really the best way to do it. And it's not a big deal, but here's the thing. When you don't unbox your dolls, then you can't ever deal with that stuff. Let's get her shoes off. These are cute little boots. I have to, they don't look familiar, like it might be a new sculpt, but it's such a basic boot, I can't imagine that it hasn't been around. So this is the little thing that used to be around her knee. So this little white part goes up here and it keeps her knee from bending. So I like to take it off because it's unnecessary, and then the clothes lay more naturally and you don't see that thing in there. Also, this is the advantage to unboxing rather than leaving stuff in box, is that you can get rid of that stuff because it will deteriorate over time. She's on the belly button body, which I believe came out like Y2K-ish. Most collectors would refer to this as the belly button body because prior to 2004, or whenever it was, Barbie did not have a belly button. So it was kind of a big deal. So we'll get her back in there, get this closed up again. You need the low rise if you're going to be Y2K 90s. I always think of her more 90s, even though I know she passed away in 2001. Or rather she died in 2001, but I always think of her more 90s. She does have painted nails, which is nice. Her manicure is black, which is amazing. She's got these longish leather sleeves. I'm trying to see, she has these little ties. Oh, they are. Okay. So if you can see, she has these little ties at the top of her gloves to keep them up, but those actually are sewn onto the gloves, whatever you want to call them, arm covers. If you're into cosplay or D&D, you might call them gauntlets. I don't know. Is that a gauntlet? That's a gauntlet, right? If I was better, I could get a close up of this. Let me try and hold it here and see if we can look at it. There's double stick adhesive that's keeping this closed so that it doesn't look like this in the box when somebody goes to buy it in the store. And this is going to be available on Target on January 26th if you're watching this before that date. That's when she comes out on Target, at least. Pre-orders have already sold out, but you take it out of the box so you can get rid of this adhesive, because this adhesive, within a relatively short time, like we're talking a couple of years, sometimes even less, will deteriorate to the point where it will really break down and start to affect the faux leather that it's on. Often you find this on dolls on their chest, holding their dress up. Like if they're wearing a sweetheart neckline or something like that, you'll find it right here because it's keeping their dress from falling down and looking awkward, right? So the big advantage of taking this out is that you can remove this so that it lasts longer. Now, this is a faux pleather outfit. It might go 5 years, it might go 10 years, it might go 20 years, depending on your climate and the conditions and where you're at. There's still a little bit of adhesive stuck to her top. So I'm trying to make sure I get all of it by using the other adhesive, just to make sure I get anything stuck off. Like you have to use an eggshell to remove an eggshell. You got to use adhesive to remove adhesive if you do it right. I don't know if I'm doing it right or not, but yeah, I'm making a mess on my floor. Can you tell? Let me go and get the other side. There's the other side again. We'll see if we can get it. The camera's kind of far from this, and I am using the back camera. I haven't made a ton of YouTube videos, so this is kind of new territory for me. So we'll see in post if I'm able to zoom in on that and you can see anything at all. But it's basically like a 1/2 inch of double-sided adhesive. I hesitate to say tape, but I guess it's adhesive tape. And it really likes to stick to this pleather, this faux leather. So all the more reason to get it off, because this leather is pretty supple, it is pretty soft. So that actually means it'll probably degrade faster. Um, and I know this is something that collectors get upset about a lot. And I understand because, you know, you want things to last, but it has to last a reasonable amount of time. I mean, I don't think that they necessarily need to be worrying about 20 years from now or longer. I mean, it would be nice, but I understand why they may not. I mean, I'd be upset if it was in 5 years or, I mean, most products are not meant to. Look, even the doll is going to break down at some point. There's already dolls from the 80s and 90s and 70s that have the white spots, and their vinyl has started to deteriorate. So, you know, nothing lasts forever. You got to live in the moment and enjoy it. That's why I open my toys and I unbox. I will say this vest is killing me because it is pretty great, and I am a comic book geek, and I have several Storm dolls that I've redressed, and this is just dying to go on an 80s Mohawk punk Storm. This vest is just screaming for it. Even the pants I could probably, this whole outfit I could almost steal, except right now everybody knows what it is. So the other thing is there's usually earring protectors on, and that's usually for metallic earrings. I don't know if these are metallic. It's to protect the head. This earring is a straight stud, so it's just straight plastic. Also on here are her sunglasses. So these are sewn on basically. So they have thread that's wrapped around the arm of the glasses. You can't really see it, but it's wrapped around and then threaded inside to keep it on her head. I just like things to lay as natural as possible. Sometimes that makes it a little more difficult, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm gonna go ahead and take that off and see if I can't get that string out. Her hairstyle also has a piece that's tied. Okay, that was part of it. So now I know. Well, now you know. So this part of her hair was actually tied with the same thread that was used for her glasses. So by cutting the point where the glasses were, I cut that as well. I just want all that stuff off of the doll so I can just let her be and let her breathe and be as natural as possible, if that makes sense. Natural is a weird word to use when you're talking about dolls. Look at you, she's cute. Yeah, she just needs a little run through with a brush. Just a little bit. But right out of the box, good. The face, good. This is also a new sculpt. Yeah, this is a beautiful sculpt. So it's marked 2024 Mattel. It's not marked like any other entertainment company, so it should be possible for Mattel to reuse the sculpt. Obviously, not necessarily for an Aaliyah doll, but just for a different character, because this is a really beautiful sculpt. It's really nice. And I have to say, I don't think, it doesn't really remind me of another one. Interesting, because you kind of feel like, you know, even though every face is different, every sculpt is different, of course, they largely look the same or look alike. Oh, you're all in the comment section for that one. I can already see it. But no, that actually seems pretty good. I wish that we had more dolls like this, because I gotta say, like, I was all about the 90s R&B. You know, not yeah, that was my jam. And so dolls like this I love, and I would love to see more. Like, I don't know, give me a million other singers. Well, my favorites were like En Vogue and Mary J. Blige, Missy Elliott. Now that we got a curvy doll, I mean, can you imagine Missy Elliott? Oh, yes. And recently I was thinking how much I would love a chaperone. I mean, come on. Like, will it ever happen? Probably not anytime soon. That seems like too big a risk since she's so new, but that would be such a fun, amazing doll. You never know, but she needs some other like pop princesses to hang out with. 2000s pop princesses, Y2K pop princesses. I guess I do think of her in that era. even though, like we said, she died in 2001. Oh, look, I dropped her glasses on the ground and forgot about it. So these, I'm almost positive we've seen these glasses before, although they do look a little bit different. A little bit. I love that she's in all black. I love that she's got this faux leather. I love that she's wearing boots. I mean, obviously, this is the one in a million video. If you're not familiar with Aaliyah's catalog, then it was one of her last big songs, I think. No, that's not true. I don't know. Let me not talk. Sitting here acting like I know everything about 90s R&B, and I don't know shit. I don't know. I just know I like it, that's all. And she's pretty. She's definitely going on my music shelf. I have a couple different music shelves that I've built up and built out over time. And I just really like representing this representation of different eras, of different genres and styles of music, of different artists. You know, because let's be real, like, would this have got made 20 years ago? I don't know. I mean, we did get a Brandy doll. We got Destiny's Child, so maybe, I think Aaliyah though was a little too, maybe sexy. Not that those ladies aren't, but it was just a different time, sadly. But either way, I'm glad that we have her now, and I'm excited. And yeah, I'm definitely going to add her to the shelf. I don't know who she's going to hang out with. Not everyone. I mean, if you've watched this far, obviously you're into Aaliyah, or you like me, so thank you for that. I have seen some comments online of people saying, why didn't we get a Janet Jackson? Why didn't we get a Madonna? Why didn't we get this? Why didn't we get that? There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but the biggest one is probably that those celebrities don't want one. But believe me, Mattel knows that everybody wants a Madonna doll. Mattel knows that everybody wants a Michael Jackson and a Janet Jackson and, you know, all these other dolls. The problem is their estates don't want to do it. You know, because trust me, Mattel is in the job of, their job is to take your money, right? If they could get a Janet Jackson doll made, they would make it in a heartbeat. Please make the If. Please make the fashion that the fit she was wearing in the If video, because that made me question. It simultaneously made me question my sexuality as well as reaffirmed my sexuality. I don't know how that works, but you know, that's what happened. But oh my God, yeah, her and the Love video. What was that? You know, the video that she had out in the beginning. I think that was the first release from that album.
Future Jim here. That would be Love Would Never Do.
She looks so hot and is so amazing in that video. Like, I think I even had a little crush on Janet back then. She was so gorgeous in that video. So gorgeous. Oh, I'm sorry, but we're here talking about you, Miss Aaliyah. You're gorgeous too. She's gorgeous too. Let me know if you picked her up or what you think.